you always had this great image, and you always kept up this thing, but it must have been hard for you at that age, because I mean, what was thrown at you was insane. I mean, it was an insane amount of work. I mean, for people that are in the industry understand it, but for those who don't, I mean, it wasn't like you just did that one television show that people remember you doing, or I mean, you were doing everything, and so how did you cope with that at that age?
Well, I guess in a way, I mean, in a way, I was young enough to not realize how mental it was, if you know what I mean. I mean, I look back at it now with a little bit of a different view. I was thrown into like the eye of the storm. I really was, and as you know well, and as you've just said, it is bloody hard work, you know. And I remember there's one day I did 7 countries in one day. It's just mad. I once fainted in Japan in the
Wow.
middle of a promotional day, because they do, like, you know, it's every 10 minutes, boom, 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 all day, all day, all day. And after a while of answering the same questions and everything else, I remember my brain just exploded. I was just like, I can't. And I stood up and I felt a bit dizzy and I just passed out. And you know, you hear those stories of young artists that are thrown into the lion's den, as it were, and then end up getting laryngitis because you know, I do a full day where I, you know, go into 4 different countries and do promotion and stuff and TV and stuff, and then I have to go and do a gig that night. It's just like fucking crazy in a way. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just did it. You know, I didn't think about it. I remember I used to get up in the morning, or be got up, you know, in the morning, and I would say, "What am I doing today?" And my dad was kind of co-managing me at the time. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Sweden, then we're going to the Netherlands, and then we're going to end up in Scotland where you've got a gig." I was like, "Okay, let's do it." You know, and and there was always a team there to kind of like, someone who brought my clothes, whatever. You know, it's like I didn't really have to think about shit. I just turned up and did pop
Just
star
did it.
stuff. You
Yeah.
know, and yeah, it was hard work, but it was fun. And I had my brother there, who was my drummer, you know, and always was my drummer. He's 2 years younger than me, and to keep my feet on the ground, you know, and call me a wanker when I was, you know, maybe getting too big for my britches or whatever. Um, and so, you know, I have kind of like good and bad memories of that, of those days, because I felt like, you know, looking back on it now, it went by me a bit too fast, and I couldn't really kind of enjoy it, you know, and kind of, you know, see the wood for the trees, as it were. And I had too many people around me who thought they
Yeah.
knew what was best, you know, and you know, when I release stuff now, it's obviously a very different thing. It's on my terms. I get to I get to release whatever songs I want to release, and um,
Yeah.
you know, I think I probably put my faith in the elders around me a little bit too much, probably, and didn't listen to my gut, you know. But that's
Well,
what you do when
well,
you're a kid. You don't know, do you?
I mean, that was an immensely big song. I mean, I've worked with artists through the years that have had that big hit, and there's always this pressure to try and write something else
Yeah,
that's going to follow that and be as big as that, and the record labels are hounding you, do something like this. you
yeah.
know and there's all of this thing. How did that go for you?
Well, because it was the soundtrack to the film, the songs
Yeah.
were basically written for the film and were written for the character Buddy. So in a
Yeah.
way, it wasn't really a first kind of artist album. I managed to get like 3 songs on that album written from that I wrote, but it was such a massive team, production company, director, you know, record label, management. I mean, just so many different people involved in it, you know, and it was all about the promotion of the film, you know, and so, that when it first came out, so it was all the film, 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 and the record was kind of like almost like a second thought in a way. This, you know, this is going to help promote the film. And then when the film kind of came out, it did okay. It was doing okay. It wasn't like huge. And then we put the single out, and of course it went crazy. And then it all got kind of changed from like Roger Daltrey in Buddy Song introducing Chesney Hawkes to the one and only Chesney Hawkes in Buddy Song with Rod Adultery, it just got all turned around.
Yeah.
And I remember when the record was like, I think it was number 5, and it was like flying up the charts, and it looked like it was going to be a number 1. And Bill Kerbishley, my manager at the time, who is a legendary, manager from the 70s, and he managed the Who and Led Zeppelin and me at the time, and so we were in his.
It's not bad company, Chesney.
No, exactly. You couldn't get more different, though, could you? me and the Who.
No, that's very true. Very true.
So we were in his office, and the team were in the office, and he turned around and he said, "I really hope this is not a number 1." And of course, at the time, me, 18-year-old kid, was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" That's all I ever dreamed of, So, but in hindsight, I see what he was talking about. It's like it's really hard to follow a song like that, especially it being your first single, and it being called The One and Only. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.